guys, I am back today. I was able to get some done in my December daily album. I basically did nothing during December. I was in a super funk, and I think I might have mentioned this in another video that I posted recently, but I was in a super funk, not just creatively, but just personally. There's a lot going on with work, and it was extremely stressful. So I apologize. I've been kind of, hit and miss here and there. And I really wanted to do my December daily while I was on vacation because I had almost a week and a half off. So it was awesome. But like I said, it was very much stress filled with work and worrying about work and other things. So I apologize, but I wanted to share this video with you today. This is a little bit longer than my normal videos, but I do have days 2 through 7. And I thought it'd be easier just to share them all in one longer video than try to break them up because like I had mentioned, I've just been super busy and I was worried that if I try to break them up, I wouldn't have time to do the voiceovers and everything all separately. So I just figured just sit down, get it all done in one shebang, and then get something up for you guys and posted. So like I said, it's a bit longer, about 5 or 6 minutes longer than my normal videos, but hopefully you'll enjoy it. So I am working right now on day 2, and I just have 2 pockets that I'm filling in for day 2. One is going to be a filler card that you saw me sew, and I just took a pin and then punched holes in it and then just sewed with a back stitch with some red embroidery floss. And now I am taking this number 2. It did come in the Allie Edwards December Daily Kit, and I wanted to kind of fancy it up a bit. So I decided to take that Lawn Fawn stamp that I showed you there, and I got my red ink out, it's Stampin' Up! Ink, and I decided to stamp hearts all over it. And I thought it looked a little funny on the edges, so I went in and it took my Sharpie marker and then marked on all the edges with the red, and I just think it ties it in a little bit better and kind of gives it an edge. Now I'm taking this piece of paper that came from, I believe, last year's Allie Edwards December Daily Kit, and I'm just going to be sewing a line on this as well, the same back stitch I used before. I'm just going to poke in this mat with the pin, and I will do that simple back stitch with the red thread. So now I'm going to finish this card off here on the front, and I'm just trying to figure out where I want to glue the number 2. And I'm going to decide kind of right there. I wanted the the star to be in the center of the top part of the 2. And I wanted to back this up because this is going to be a piece that just kind of flips back and forth in the album, and it looks really ugly on the back. So I'm taking another one of the papers, and I am lining it all up, and then I'm going to re-punch the holes so it goes through both, and then I'll glue down this number 2. I'm just using my fine liner bottle with a bit of Scotch Quick Dry in it. And then that is going to be added here to this piece of paper. And I will embellish it a little bit with a heart, which is in the gray color to match the gray above. And then I'm also going to add a little, I believe it's a silver kind of sparkly enamel dot also, just to kind of have a cluster of 3. And I thought about doing the red, but then it seemed like a lot of red, so I wanted to bring that gray down. And it says peace as well. I thought it was nice to have the repetitive word in this, and I didn't mind that it said it on both places. And then that's that silver enamel dot. To do the journaling, I wanted to add that to the back here, and there's no way I was going to be able to do it with my typewriter on this white paper. So I'm just taking this vellum, tracing it so I know where the journaling is going to go, and then I'm going to add that to the back of this circle here. Once I punch it out, I tried to put this in the album, but I didn't like how the vellum journaling was separating from the rest of it. So you will see that I'm going to add another one of those enamel hearts to the bottom, and this is going to give me a place to kind of hide some of my adhesive so I can glue the vellum piece to this half circle piece. So you're going to see that here in just a second. And I really like how this turned out. I like how with this album it has the 6 rings in it. I've always used just the 2-ring album, or the 4 I should say. I really super love the 6-ring albums. I think that is what I'm going to be buying from now on. I'm always jealous when I see people using the 6-ring binders because you can add all these little interactive elements and they just fit in better where they don't seem to like flop around as much when you use just the 2 holes. So I really am enjoying this binder that I got from Allie Edwards. So I'm definitely going to continue to purchase those in the future for these kinds of mini albums. So that is day 2. Now I'm going to move on to day 3. I just have 2 pictures for this day. I'm going to take some doilies or a doily from my stash, and I ripped it, but that's okay. It's going to be hidden by the picture. And this is a picture of my daughter and her chocolate advent calendar and our elf Izzy. And she decided to take lipstick out of my daughter's like costume stuff and put it all over her face. So she's looking in the mirror trying to put the lipstick on and it is like literally all over her face. And it's kind of hard to see from the video, but that's what that is. And I'm taking just some of this glittery washi tape. I have some gold and some copper I'm going to be using. And right now I'm just using the gold and I'm putting it on the side of the picture and then the bottom of this journaling card. And I just really like how this looks, just kind of ties in some of that gold foiling or that shiny gold with the layout. And then I have that heart that's a chipboard that says joy. I'm going to add some more of this gold washi in the top left. And I'm just going to cut out a little bitty flag end in the end of it and then kind of put it over the top left side. Again, just trying to bring that gold throughout the layout and then also trying to frame the picture just a bit to kind of have an end place, if that makes sense. So I wanted to add some copper color as well, and you're going to see that it doesn't stick very well on top of each other. This washi is kind of cheap. I think I might have got it from like the Target dollar spot or whatever it's called. And so I will end up here in a little bit when I put this strip on adding some adhesive to it because it's just simply not going to stick, which I said is again fine. I just add the dot adhesive and it's no big deal. So I'm just using my Tombow tape runner there to add some extra adhesive on. So I'll also put a piece of that coppery colored on the bottom here where the picture is of the elf, just to kind of tie it all together. And then I will add in that star chipboard piece there in the bottom right of that photo. And I really like how that turns out. So once I glue that down, I will end up trimming off that doily here in a little bit. But first I'm going to look at some other things I might want to use from the kit. I really want to pull some of this chipboard. I believe I pull one small little strip and I'm going to put it there on the magic card. And so it says Magic Traditions. So these are both traditions, Izzy coming and visiting, and then my daughter and her advent calendar. When I was a kid, I actually had those chocolate advent calendars too. So I wanted to continue that tradition and have that for her. So that's what that's about, and she enjoys it. We actually lost our advent calendar and we had to go and buy a new one, and then I ended up finding it in our Christmas stash for where we did the decorations. But that's okay, now we have two. Now I just took another one of those pieces of chipboard. That chipboard sheet that I pulled the star off is from a Feed Your Craft chipboard sheet, and then I'm taking these Teresa Collins little stars. They're gold and they're kind of metal pieces, and I'm going to add that. Now I want to add some journaling and the date to this, and I was thinking about using some of the number stickers in the kit, but I just didn't like how they looked and there's not a good place for them. So I'm just going to take my roller date stamp and stamp out the 3rd of December. And then I'm going to end up doing some journaling on this card here in a second. I believe I put it on vellum if I'm remembering correctly. So you'll see that here, what that looks here in a second. Oh, no, I didn't. I lied. I actually ran it through my typewriter and I just took off that star so I could run it through. And I made a few mistakes, but I'm just trying to fix it with my pen. No big deal. I like the vintage look of it and a little mistake is not going to kill me. So I am going to add a little glue to this chipboard piece because when I pulled the adhesive backing off, it kind of came apart, but no big deal. Adding some glue to this one too because they're not very sticky, and I think this day is pretty much done. Oh no, I forgot. I added one wood veneer star to that top left. So that is day 3. Now I'm going to be moving on here in a second to day 4. Day 4 has a couple different photos on it. I use all 3x4 photos on this layout. This is a day that it snowed. It was like the only day, if I'm remembering correctly, that it snowed in December. And actually right now it is coming down. The snow is coming down. I live in the Midwest and we have gotten more snow, I think, today than I think we've gotten in a really super long time. And it's coming down like, I don't know, the flakes are ginormous when I'm looking out the window, but you'll see those probably in my Project Life photos and things like that I'll do later on. But anyway, back to this layout. I'm just adding some of this black twine, and I thought it needed a little something. I wanted to add a charm. I didn't like how that sled was going to look, so I had these Tim Holtz Ideology pendants here. I got them from Tuesday Morning, and I decided to use this one that I put on and showed you. And I'm just going to tie it onto one of the strings, and then the rest of them I'm just going to tie a bow in it. And I just want something kind of dangly in there. I have it when it's all in the pocket, kind of dangling outside the pocket. So you'll, I think I showed that in the photos. I'm not quite sure, but either way, it's no big deal. It's just kind of dangles in front of the photos. So now I'm taking a close to my heart stamp with these stripes and putting it on the number 4. I have some gold embossing powder that I'm going to add to it, and then I'm just going to heat that up. And I really like how this ends up looking. It's a really nice bold stripe on here, and I think it's really pretty, and it goes with the rest of the layout. So I'm just going to heat it here with my heat gun, and then I'll move on to working on that card. So the card I'm going to be using right now, or working on now, is the bottom right. Or actually, I will be moving to the bottom right. That's where that number 4 is going to go, and I'm going to add some journaling there. First, I'm going to add these word strips. These are just black and gold word strips. I think I got them maybe from Michael's last year or something. They've been in my stash for a bit. So I'm just going to be using them on the 3 photos. And then later on, I will use a stapler and staple those down, really more just to kind of have a cool, fun texture than it really adhering anything. So I did pull out today chipboard. I'm going to put that in the top left, and I'm going to trim off the very top. And then I pulled another word strip chipboard and put it on the kind of filler card. I really like these hearts that came in the kit, or maybe it was an add-on, I don't remember, but it's from the Ellie Edwards December Daily 2018. And so I just want to add that to the top of that card and then add that strip. Now here you can see my journaling. I did kind of put a little guideline there so I knew where the 4 was going to go. So I'm going to kind of use the 4 and I'm going to staple it down, and that's going to hold the vellum piece in place so you don't see my adhesive. And then I'm going to put that today circle chipboard in the top left, and that will hold kind of the top left. And I believe I actually add another staple here in a little bit just to make sure it really stays. So I just trim that off. It's pretty easy. I like those Tim Holtz scissors. They work really well when you're trying to trim some of those chipboard pieces. They're not really thick, so they work really well. So my stapler, I think I may have mentioned this earlier, I don't remember, in another video, but I did take the Tim Holtz staples and I ended up coloring the staples kind of a yellowy color so they look gold instead of silver, and I really like how that looks on these pages. So that's what I do to get gold staples. Now I'm moving to day 5. Day 5, I have this card. It has a craft kind of background, and I just took some white stitching. It was a zigzag stitch and went all the way around to kind of frame the card. And now I'm going to be putting joyful on this vellum, and you're going to see that I just stitched that down, and then I'm going to put my adhesive behind the word joyful so that you don't see it, and then it's going to go down on this card on the top. I'm also going to add some embellishments in the top right, and that's where I'm actually going to put my number. I don't believe I did really anything to the photo on this one. I think I did all of the embellishing on the top card, if I'm not mistaken. So you can see that stitching a little bit better now when you're looking at the back of it. So I'm going to move on. I want to put the number 5 down, but it really gets lost. So you'll see here in a little bit how I kind of make that work. So first I'm going to pull some of these Feed Your Craft chipboard pieces. I find a phrase that I like. I'm going to put in the top right. It matches the colors of the ornaments. And like I said earlier, these do not stick very well, so I am going to add a little bit of adhesive to it. And then I wanted to put that 5 on top of it, but it still didn't look quite right. So I'm going to find some blue, light blue paper in my stash, punch a circle. It's a 3/4 inch circle, and I'm going to add it there. I'm going to put the number 5 on. I'm just going to trim off the bottom so it kind of tucks there since I already adhered down that chipboard piece. I'm going to trim it just a little bit more to make sure it fits, and then I'm going to plop it up there in the top right. So I believe that's day 5. Oh no, I do something else and on the picture. I'm going to add this wood veneer Christmas tree or tree, and I'm taking that Shimmers spray and I'm just going to paint the Christmas tree because I wanted to bring some of that blue down into the photo. So I'll add that down there, and then I'm going to take some of these word strips from December Daily, and I believe these were from this year, I think. And I'm going to have 2 word strips. One's going to say thankful, and I can't remember what the other one's going to say off the top of my head, but the thankful goes, or thank you goes with the story. We went skating for a little school event, and I met one of my daughter's friends there. That's who is behind the post-it note. And she was so sweet. She ended up winning a bunch of tickets, and she shared them with my daughter so my daughter could actually get some things from the little, the place where you can pick things out for a number of tickets you have. So I thought that was really sweet. So that's kind of why I used those word phrases. And then I'm just going to put in joyful embrace. So embrace is going to have the strip. It's going to go right there under the word joyful because they're just kind of hugging each other and within that picture. So I thought that was cute. So I'm just going to tuck that below the joyful. And I believe that is the end of this card or page now. So next I'm working on day 6. This is super simple. All I'm going to do is have this journaling here. I am going to do some stitching around the fa la 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 card, and then I'm going to add a little wood veneer star in red, and then that is pretty much it. So I'm going to keep day 6 super simple. So you'll see I'll do some black, really super messy stitching around the fa la la. I did about 3 or 4 different lines of stitching, and then I am going to I don't want to use the gold because it doesn't like how it looks, doesn't work there. I'm just going to take my roller date stamp and add 6th of December on the fa la la card, bottom right with some gray ink from Stampin' Up. I think it's called Basic Gray. Just testing to make sure I did it correctly and it's not going to be messed up. And then I'm going to add that wood veneer star on that top journaling piece. I'm going to color the wood veneer star with some Sharpie marker. I want it to be in red to kind of mimic the colors in the Merry, Bright, and Fa La La card and below. So you're going to see I'm going to color that in, and I'm just going to use some liquid adhesive and stick that sucker on. So after I get done with that, I'm going to move on to my final day that I'm going to be sharing right now, and that is day 7. So you'll see that here in just a second. While we're waiting for that, I just want to say thank you guys so much for joining me today. If you're enjoying these videos in general, give me a thumbs up. If you haven't, please subscribe. I would love to have you subscribe and join us for different videos and things like that. Depending on how work is going, hopefully I will have more time to post these. But either way, I do post Project Life, December Daily, some planner videos, and some other things like that. So I do kind of have a smorgasbord videos that I post. So I would love to have you as a subscriber. But either way, hopefully you like the videos and you can at least give me a thumbs up. I would super appreciate it. So now I'm just working on day 7. This is just going to be a simple 4x6 backed with another 4x6 card. The number 7 was the same Ali Edwards white chipboard, and I just embossed it with some red embossing powder. That's that glitter embossing powder. I love how it looks. I hate how it works because even though it embosses, it comes off just like regular glitter. So what I ended up doing, I showed you at the very beginning, I just took some glossy Mod Podge and painted Mod Podge over the top of the 7. That way the glitter wasn't falling out everywhere. So I just took this Joy acetate piece and then used a word strip that says, "Oh, what fun," and I glued that there on the left, and I'll back that with some silver washi tape in a little bit. On the number, I wanted to punch out some vellum because it looked like it needed a little bit of something to back it because it was blending in with the background too much. And that white piece there that you see, that white wood veneer, it was actually a wreath. I think it was a full circle wreath, and it completely crumbled into pieces. I don't know what happened with it. It was very super delicate, but it ended up working out just fine. I'm going to be able to use it in a couple different places on a couple different cards. So in the long run, it was good. So I just backed the Joy with the silver washi tape. I added the acrylic little star, and I really like how this card's turning out. Like I said, this card is just going to be standalone. It will end up getting punched, and I'll show you in a second how I'm going to get this in the album. But I'm just going to keep it just the simple card. It's not going to be in a page protector. So I wanted to bring that silver washi tape around on this card on the back. Like I said, these are going to be backed together, so you'll see how I glue them together in a little bit. So I want to add my journaling here too. I wanted to kind of look like it was a notebook punch, so you can see that punch right there that I'm using. I'm going to use that, and then I'm going to kind of ruffle up the punched area so it kind of looks like I pulled it out of a notebook or something. So you'll see that here in a second. And you'll also see kind of how I adhere it. I found a Tim Holtz paper clip that I'm going to be using. And you're going to see that I'll just pull that from my stash. It's one of those little bitty kind of coppery brass color, what are they called? Paper clips. And then I added Bah Humbug because this is a story about a not so great event that happened over Christmas. And I thought Bah Humbug was perfect. And I had these thickers in my stash for a long time. They're all falling off the sheet. So I just pulled them out. And I kind of wanted them to look kind of scattered on the page, not real perfect. So I added the, what's it called? The Tim Holtz paperclip there, and then because I needed to have it sticking on the right because it wasn't going to be my album, I just moved over the silver washi tape, added a bit more adhesive, and then I'm just going to trim it off, and then that holds that journaling piece in pretty well. So now because these are going to be on the outside of the album and because it's this craft cardstock, I wanted to make sure that this card really stuck well to the back of my photo. So I'm just going to take some double-sided adhesive here and add that. Now, in order to get in my album, I need to be kind of creative. I didn't think about it when I first made the card, of course. So I'm going to take these tab punches. It's an old punch I believe I got from Stampin' Up! A long time ago. And I'm just going to glue these tabs to the photo where I'll be able to punch the spots on the actual photo so it can fit in and move in the album. So you'll see here how I'm just gluing that down to each place so that when I punch it, it will fit in. And then I will fold them over, glue them, and then glue the whole entire thing together. So here you're going to see me add a little bit more glue, squeeze that together, and then I'm going to use that double-sided adhesive to have the whole big thing stay together. And then also it looks nice because those tabs are hidden between the two pieces of paper, the photo paper and the paper. So I added it all together. I'm going to go ahead and mark it so I can punch it here in a second. And I'm just going to add my punch. And then I'm going to be able to put in my album here. And then that's going to be the last page. If you want to stay a little bit longer, you can see the still shots of the photos that I took for all the layouts. I kind of put them all to the end to make it easier. And you can see now that it just flips in there. And I really, really like how that looks. So thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope to hear from you guys. If you have any questions, leave those in the comments below. And I will talk to you again very, very soon. Bye, guys.